Well, so we're back with this Montgomery Ward Airline console unit here, and I was able to get, thanks to DigiKey, a replacement volume control. It's not an exact replacement. I'm going to have to file down the knob, the shaft a little bit so that the knob will fit on. But what I've done here is just temporarily connected it the way the old one was connected, just using some jumpers here, and it works. So let me show you that. I'm going to plug it in. We'll turn it on. And we have sound. And it works. So I'm going to fiddle with the shaft here. We'll get it all wired up. And what do you know? We were able to save this after all. Now the power switch, I did have to modify that a little bit because this new volume control does not have a power switch integrated on it. But it turns out that without a phonograph, the phonograph position is off. And it sounds like I still need to clean these controls a little bit better too. So we will do that. And first we'll get this all this jumper stuff out of the way, and I'll get the shaft mounted, and then we can solder up these connections and test it again. One of the first things I'm going to have to do is adjust the position of this little, so you can see right there is a little notch, and that's supposed to mate with the tab right here on the volume control. This volume control is a little bit smaller than the original, and so I'm going to have to file this notch over a little bit so that we can get this to mount flush. And then I'm also going to have to file down the shaft here a little bit so that it has a flat surface. Notice how these shafts have the flat on them. Okay, so that's our next step. Okay, so I was able to use my handy Dremel here and enlarge this notch enough to allow the pin from the potentiometer to be able to fit through there. So that's good. Now I'm working on filing a flat groove on the shaft here to match the other one. So started off just using a file, and takes a little while, but we're making some progress. We'll get that flattened out and flatten it till we get the knob to fit on properly. And I've got it filed down now to where we can get the shaft on there. Let me show you that. So that ought to work. Now we just need to wire it up and mount it in here, and we'll test it all out again and see how we're doing. I was very careful, by the way. That's why it's wrapped in blue tape, to try to keep any metal filing shavings from getting down in there. That would obviously be bad. All right, I got it all back together. The new potentiometer is all wired up. It is a little bit smaller than the old one, but we'll see. Hopefully this works good. We've got some of the knobs on here just so I can test it out. So let's plug it in and make sure everything's still working. And we'll turn it on.
Statement rings with diamonds, sapphires, and rubies. My team is always redesigning the basics to make them anything but basic. They still look classic, but our unique details make them beautiful from every angle. Far more special than the plain styles sold everywhere else.
Come in and see our excellent craftsmanship. You can feel how substantial each piece is because we make all of our jewelry.
These controls are still a little bit dirty.
Ladies, treat yourself, or put these essentials on your wish list. You deserve something beautiful that you
We
can
have
wear
volume.
forever.
How you have a friend in the jewelry business. Shane Company.
We'll use a little bit of deoxit and clean up these controls. Get a little bit of deoxit. This is the balance control. Controls are cleaned. It seems to be working pretty good. I'm going to have to file this shaft just a little bit more. I can't quite push the knob on to be flush with these other knobs, but I can do that. That's no big deal. So yeah, the next step here is to button it all up. Okay, one last test now that it's put back together. Of course, the final step will be to put it back into the console, but I'll have to go over to the friend's house to do that. So let's plug it in again and just make sure everything's still working. So again, now I've had to rewire this a little bit since the volume control no longer functions as the on-off switch, but without a phonograph connected, phono is the off position. So power it up here. Turn up our volume.
Peter Moskos. He's a criminal justice professor at John Jay College and a former Baltimore police officer.
It does appear at the actual moment that one of the officers
Looking good. See if we can get anything on AM here. Probably not.
This year, let's really bang on the gates of heaven for the persecuted church. Check out the video I'm offering this month. Back after
We
this.
do get AM. All right.
Tune in to
So we'll call that a wrap.
in agreement with their male
And
or female design.
good thing I was able to find the volume control for it.
Afternoons at 12:30 and again at 6:30.
Thanks for watching
here
part
on
2.
KCIS 630.